Dwayne Haskins. Again, I don't think he's going to fall that far. I think Miami sees him there, and it's their dream. They're not expecting him to be there. It's just the way my board fell. They need it. He's the perfect style of quarterback for that area, I believe. So I had them taking Haskins. Atlanta, I have them taking Rashawn Gary. I think he's another guy that nobody's expecting to be this far down. I think he fits well with what they like to do on defense as far as being versatile across the defensive line and even maybe being able to learn how to stand up. And then 15 for Washington. Selling Farrell. I know he didn't test well, but losing their edge rushers there and needing a defense badly, I just think that they'll probably take him. And then here's the one a lot of people are arguing with me about. It's Carolina Panthers at 16, DK Metcalf, excuse me. He to me, his tape, his combine, and his numbers of what his production was in college all tell me the same story. He's a freak athlete that has straight ahead speed, but he's just an average okay receiver overall. His ability, and it showed in his 3-cone drill and such, he doesn't have the ability to bend and change directions and stop the way you'd want a receiver. And I gave him to Carolina in the first round because he absolutely 100% fits the profile and type of wide receiver that Cam Newton needs and also meshes best with in his style of play.
Yeah, so look at this bunch in the round. Dwayne Haskins, great pocket passer. I think he's a really good fit for Miami if he slips that far. Rashawn Gary, great athlete, great defender. Maybe doesn't have a true position, but definitely a chess piece a team like Atlanta could use. 15, Clelin Ferrell is an interesting pick to look at because last year he was mocked to go to the Packers if he came up early. He went back for his senior year, didn't necessarily improve his stock, didn't necessarily test great at the combine, and I think he may have just been overshadowed by some of the other athletic freaks, but he does strike me as one of those guys who's really solid. He's got good moves, a lot of polish to his game, very well-rounded. I think he's a good value at 15, even if he doesn't have that crazy bend around the corner. And then 16, DK Metcalf is a guy that I think you nailed it. Athletic freak, fast, huge, strong. And if you watch the film, he can run go routes, he can run stop routes, and he can run stop and go routes. That's it. He reminds me a lot of Des Bryant, maybe without the same attitude, but he's limited in his route tree, and he's going to struggle to gain separation unless it's a stutter step or just fly route. And that's not what I want to see in the Packers offense. Carolina, maybe a much better fit.
Okay, good stuff there. And 17, the New York Giants' second pick, which we didn't really get into, but, it's the craziness. They picked it up in the Odell Beckham Jr. trade. So the Giants now are going again, Cody Ford, inside lineman there from Oklahoma. Like I said, you're all in on Eli at this point, and you have the running back. You need the offensive lineman. The injuries have happened. It's proven again and again, over and over again. You can't have enough of them. You got to get them early, and you can't afford one guy to drop because that just ruins your season. You're all in on Eli. So I gave him another inside lineman there. Minnesota Vikings, Garrett Bradbury, interior offensive lineman, North Carolina State. Again, they have the same issue. As great as everybody wants to think that, Kirk Cousins is, he's not. He's not comfortable moving. He wants to stand and deal from the pocket. Their line has been abysmal. 19, Tennessee Titans. This is, I think, one of these guys where you're not sure really where he fits, but Tennessee with Mike Vrabel, versatile guy, Christian Wilkins, defensive lineman out of Clemson, and then 20 to Pittsburgh. They need corner help. Byron Murphy from Washington.
Yeah, so kicking it off with the Giants, like I said before, it's hard to tell what they're thinking with some of the moves they make. The whole OBJ thing was really kind of a head scratcher. They just extended them and said they didn't extend him and trade him, saved a ton of money with the signing bonus, and then unloaded him. It's just really bizarre. So they have Saquon Barkley. You got him taking a couple of offensive linemen here. Maybe that's their idea. Maybe they're trying to really build up that offensive line, have a dominant running back like Saquon Barkley, and then an aging quarterback with a lot of experience in Eli Manning almost reminds me a little bit of the late 90s Denver offense where they want to build around the ground game with a veteran quarterback. Maybe that's the move. It's not something I want to try and predict, but Cody Ford, I think, is decent value.
Well, and Gettleman, as much as people think he's a fool, I think he's just foolish in the fact that he thinks he's living in 1995, 96 football era, and therefore he doesn't value edge positions. He doesn't value the positions in the order that they do nowadays. So linemen and running backs to him are, I guess that's where I went with this double dip in the first round. That's my logic, so people don't think I'm crazy.
Yeah. Garrett Bradbury is a guy I really like. So he came into college as a tight end, and he has shown a lot of great technique. You see his foot speed and mobility. I think he's perfect for zone blocking. He was the best offensive lineman at the Senior Bowl. He was a guy I was hoping would fall to the Packers, maybe at 30 or 44. I'd hate to see him go to Minnesota because I think he's a great pick. 19 with Tennessee, Christian Wilkins. I think you said not sure about where this fits. I think this is right where he fits. Solid middle to the end of the first round. He's a big guy. He gets through the line. He uses his hands really well. He's athletic enough. He's not really, like an edge guy, but a lot of energy and really high character. He was the guy who graduated with his degree in 2.5 years, came up really polished in his combine interviews and tested very well. I think he's going to be a good pick wherever he goes. Steelers definitely could use some secondary help. I still think Byron Murphy is the number one corner in this class. I know Greedy Williams had that 4.38 in the combine. Murphy ran a 4.55 that raised some flags, but 4.55 is not that slow. We see a lot of these crazy numbers coming up, but Devontae Adams, Jordy Nelson, those are guys who ran low 4.5s when they tested. For Murphy, just like those guys, it's about the speed, it's about the quickness, it's about the playing speed, or more than the time speed. So I like that pick for Pittsburgh too.
All right, and then moving on, 21, Seattle. I have them taking the first safety off the board in Chauncey Gardner-Johnson from Florida. Baltimore picks up another lineman, Eric McCoy, guard, Texas A&M. Houston taking an offensive tackle to protect their franchise quarterback, Dalton Risner, out of Kansas State, who I know is another one of your guys that you like. And Oakland Raiders. This guy, to me, not only is it splashy, I think his name just fits as a Raider. Greedy Williams, cornerback, LSU.
Yeah, so Chauncey at 21 at Seattle, a little higher than I'd like to see him go. I think he's definitely one of the top safeties. I'd probably put Adderley a little higher. I like everything that he brings to the game, and I think that Seattle may be a place where they always valued secondary and can use some help back there. Eric McCoy to the Ravens. The Ravens are in this odd place. Are they ready to compete yet or not? But you can't really go wrong with fortifying the line. McCoy's a solid pick there. This is probably the top end of where I'd see him going. Dalton Risner is a guy that I like. He can play pretty much every position. Probably not a left tackle in the NFL, but both guards, really smart center, really good at right tackle. He's got a great attitude to the game. Only red flag is he's going to be a 24-year-old rookie. And the only thing that gives me pause there is saying, did he look this good in college because he was 2 years older than everybody? And that's one of the things that is so hard to project college players to the pros. You go from the college ranks where you're playing against 18-year-old kids who just got out of high school in some cases, and then you're jumping to the pros. You're blocking Khalil Mack. You're going against the biggest, most freakish athletes in the history of the world.
And maturity in college can make you look better than you actually are. Let's be clear, because your maturity and mindset can be a huge advantage to guys that just don't get it the way you do.
Right, and at 24, not only the mental side, but his body is probably fully matured, and he's not going to keep growing like some of these other guys. Think about the Packers taking Kenny Clark at 20. That guy's still growing. He's still figuring out the game and learning it. Risner is probably closer to the ceiling than most of the other guys. You still have to admit it's a pretty high ceiling.
Yes.
And then Oakland Raiders, Greedy Williams, hey, there's a cornerback that ran a 4.3. Probably a Raiders pick.
Yeah. I couldn't pass him up, even if it doesn't necessarily fit. So we got 25, Philadelphia, Devin Bush Jr. They lost Hicks. I think he fits right into what they do defensively. 26 for Indianapolis. Dexter Lawrence on the board. I think they're jumping up and down. I think his character, where he came from, his football, his ability, they'd love him. 27, the Raiders. Again, I have them taking Joshua Jacobs, a running back out of Alabama. They're building up the line. They've spent money. They need the running back. They've got the receiver. That gives them that 1-2-3 punch that I think Chucky would love. And then the Los Angeles Chargers at 28. Deebo Samuel, wide receiver, South Carolina.
Yeah, so looking at this, starting again, inside linebacker Devin Bush, the best inside linebacker on the board. I'm just not a fan of inside linebackers. You're talking about a guy who's really athletic, really rangy, can get to where he needs to be, and then he kind of has that drag down tackle where he's pulling guys by the shoulder pads. I just don't like it. I know people talk a lot about Blake Martinez. He's not an all-pro, but wraps guys up and drags them down. And why spend a 25 pick on that when you don't have to? 26, Dexter Lawrence. I like Dexter Lawrence. I think this is also a little high for him just because the position he plays. He is a big guy, 6'4", 340. He's a run-stuffing nose tackle who's really good at it, and that has a lot of value. Usually don't see them go in the first, but it would seem like the Colts is trying to build around that, keep their inside linebackers clean. With a guy like Dexter Lawrence could still make sense. 27, the Raiders taking Josh Jacobs. Again, if a team is going to go for those high-end offensive players, it might be the Raiders. I like Jacobs a lot. I just think it's a devalued position. I think you can find much better value with some of these fourth-round backs that we're looking at. Jacobs is a little on the short side of 5'9", but he's got that 210-pound power build. He runs low. He's really patient. He can change directions easy, and he hardly ever fumbles. I do like him. Again, just think, I don't want to use a first-round pick on a running back, but the Raiders, they have 3 of them, and it's a position of need. It could be a fit for them. Deebo Samuel, this is a guy who was not in the first-round conversation before Senior Bowl, and I think Senior Bowl, he really opened a lot of eyes. He was virtually uncoverable. He's got a great release. He's got great hands, probably limited to the slot because of the size, that could definitely be a weapon. And Chargers probably get a lot of mileage out of that pick.
All right, we got 2.5 minutes left, so we got 4 picks left. We got Kansas City, Jachai Polite, edge out of Florida. At 30, the Packers. I have them taking Paris Campbell, but I also have a scenario here I want to get to quick before we go. 31, LA Rams, Jonathan Abraham, safety, Mississippi State, and New England taking Mack Wilson, linebacker out of Alabama. We all know that he loves his Alabama players in New England.
Yeah, so I look at that Polite. I don't know what the Chiefs are doing when they're getting rid of their edge rushers and where their defense is going, but this is probably where the talent of Polite starts to be too tantalizing to let him flip anymore. I'm going to skip down and say the Rams. Abram is a really good, strong safety who could definitely fortify a back end. Mack Wilson seems like a kind of solid inside guy the Patriots could use. Jumping back up to the Packers at 30, not a fan of taking a wide receiver here. If I did, I'd probably want Hakeem Butler, one of those 6'5", 220-pound big receivers for the LaFleur offense, but I'd really like to see him stick defense.
Two scenarios quickly. Either taking Irv Smith Jr. here at 30, quick, or
I'd be fine with that.
Or here's the scenario I had with the Giants. The Giants trade up. We get 38 this year, the 3rd-round pick this year, and a 2nd-round pick next year, and they come up and take Drew Lock to be their quarterback of the future.
I could see them going for that, and with the Packers, if the board falls this way, I love the thought of trading down. I think 30 to 50 has a really similar talent level, and I think they could get a lot of guys trading down out of 30.
Okay, we covered it all there, and about 40 seconds left. Anything you want to say to the people? Thank you very much. You can always get us at Packers for the win or at UPJ33. Thank you very much, Bruce, and we will have you back again very soon. You folks have a great weekend. We'll get back to you on either Sunday or Monday with another episode.